Hi, I'm Randolph Hoppe with the Jack Kirby Museum and Research Center, and I'm here at the Helford Gallery, where I'm going to talk about Kirbyvision. And we're going to take a little walk through and show you all the wonderful Kirby art and Kirby-inspired art. Here we have a new stand, just to give people an idea of what it was like to buy a comic book back in the day. We're offering free comics or free comics with a donation, just to keep it fun. And right here, as the main signature images, the welcome images, are these large 3D pages that you can put your glasses on, stand here and enjoy some incredible three-dimensional comics from 1953. We're heading into Gallery 3, which is our museum-like exhibit of Jack Kirby original art. It's thematically based. What's happening on this wall here is an explanation of Jack Kirby's development of the Marvel superheroes in the early 1960s. He was on what he would call a creative blitz, where he submitted Fantastic Four, Thor, Hulk, X-Men, and Avengers to the folks at Marvel, Stan Lee being the editor. I kind of jumped over the fact that we have Captain America here. That was a character from the 40s that he developed with Joe Simon for Marvel Comics. We have a number of pages of original art that are absolutely historic. Pages from Avengers #1 and early issues of the X-Men are here. So it's a real treat for people to be able to see the origins of the Marvel superheroes that they love coming from pieces of paper off of Jack Kirby's drawing table. After the Marvel superheroes section, the exhibit is broken down into different thematic sections. Here we talk about Jack's deep space cosmic vistas, where we talk about his interest in space and the cosmos, including some original art from the fantastic 2001 A Space Odyssey adaptation. Here we have the mythology-infused science fiction section. Jack would often look at mythology and the stories of the past and then infuse them with science fiction, often technology, with the future. So if you ever had the pleasure of meeting Jack Kirby in person, inevitably, the more time you spent with him, you would get to hear war stories. He had an incredibly horrific experience in World War II. It deeply affected him. It really informed a lot of the stories that he told and that he drew. And so we're featuring some original art from some of those stories here in the section called The Fight and the War. This section is called Heroes and Villains. Jack Kirby is well known, not only from the Marvel superhero wall that we feature in the exhibit, but he creates all kinds of heroes and villains, and we feature some of them here in this exhibit. Jack Kirby also created a bunch of great monsters, particularly in the late 50s. We have a section here called The Bad and the Ugly. Thrilled to be able to present 2 splash pages of original art from Jack's work at that time. I don't think they've ever been seen in public before. Although we often think about Jack Kirby as being Mr. Superhero, he really was the consummate comic book creator. And in the late 40s, after kind of a weird time in the comic book business, his partner Joe Simon and he looked at the newsstand and saw how many romance pulp magazines were being sold and said, why don't we make a romance comic? And they created the romance comic genre, and we're thrilled to be able to have 3 pages of original art from Jack Kirby's romance comics. Those were the kinds of stories that translated over into his action superhero comics as well, and that's what made those works powerful and evocative. This section we call Unique Graphic Techniques. Jack Kirby drew so many comic book stories over the years that he developed what we call Kirby dots or Kirby crackle in order to express energy, water, movement. It was something that he used all the time to create a dynamic visual experience for the reader. This section we call Dynamic Storytelling. Jack Kirby was one of the progenitors of comic book narrative back in the early 40s. He and people like Will Eisner and Jack Cole took the language of comic strips that were only on 1 page of the newspaper across multiple pages in a comic book. And his ability to lead the viewer's eye through the pages and have action sequences that pulled you into it as if you were in the middle of the action. He was a master at that. This section is called Seeing the Future. Jack was really into science fiction, and he loved telling science fiction stories. He would tell stories that were relevant to the readers of the day, but he would surround it in the trappings of the future. One of the fun aspects of Kirbyvision is that we have these large comic books. One of the large comics we have to read on the tables is a large reproduction of Captain 3D comic that Simon and Kirby made in 1953. And it is fully 3D. Wow. And over here, next to the newsstand, we have a 3D section of some of the original art from 1953, where you can see the layers that they prepared the art on. A poster image of original art from when Jack Kirby did a 3D comic in the 80s, and some other items. Actually, a portrait of Jack Kirby in 3D. So keep your glasses handy.
We're really excited to bring Kirbyvision together. This is the dream come true of Bruce Helford, the owner of the gallery. He's a big collector of Jack Kirby original work, and Jack Kirby has influenced so many of our artists. We discovered that when we started inviting artists to participate in the show and create their own style of artwork, only as an homage to Jack Kirby. They all came forward with little stories about how they read everything that Kirby did growing up. Kirby created Captain America, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Hulk, and we have versions of all of those throughout the gallery, created by the artists that we love and work with so much, including fantastic things like this Thor hammer, and it's going to be all night long. We're wondering, are you worthy? Which is very heavy, and not everyone will be worthy, but they'll get to play with it all night long. Then we have paintings like this over here with Luke 2, the Fantastic Four, and he's created himself, his image, his bear, as one of the characters. We love that. Or Bob Dobb, who did the Hulk for us. Andrew Brandow, who decided he wanted to do sort of a whole cosmic reality based a lot on Jack Kirby's Crackle. It's a very exciting show, and we can't wait for everyone to come down and experience it.